Good morning. Today is August 8th, Thursday. We are at Charlottetown. Today's cold, 15 Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit. What?
So indeed, on the 11th of August sailing, you will have a new cruise director, but it will be a familiar face that you will recognize. That's the most I can tell you at this time. Now, this is from Heidi on Baja Deck.
You have money, you know where money is in a lot of for like also money for the
Okay, so if you're wondering where the heck am I today, you are in Canada, no, not the 51st state. You're in Canada, Prince Edward Island. We're the smallest province. We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. We're the smallest but the mightiest, we like to say. I forget what number on the top, couple hundreds of islands. We're in the top 3 for Canada anyway, for islands. And we are in the capital city called Charlottetown. So you'll hear me say a lot PI. PI, it means Prince Edward Island, PEI. We just sort of slur it all together into one. Charlottetown's a growing place, especially all of the island. We're one of the fastest growing provinces in all of Canada, after apparently none of it. And you're like, what's a none of it? It's the 3rd territory. It used to be part of the Northwest Territories up north. On the left here, this is Port Charlottetown. This is happening spot in the summer. On the left there, Founders Hall. There's a lot of restaurants in there. A lot of local made crafts, liquor store in there, tourist information. That used to be the repair shop for the, when we used to have a railway that ended in 1989 was the end of the freight. 1969 was the end of the passenger trains. We're on Water Street here. Now we're due to be back at 12:30, so it's a 3.5-hour tour. And your all aboard time is 1:30, so you'll have a little bit of time to maybe wander around into Founders Hall. It's just a couple of minutes for a walk from the ship there. Taking your horse and carriage through there so you didn't take your dirty rubber boots into the bank and get it a little mucked up. A lot of delegates stayed in the Great George. It had the Pavilion was the original name, this block of hotels on the right. There was a lot of little shops and candle shops and pubs in here. The beautiful basilica on the left here. This is the 4th one on this site. This is built in 1919. Open to the public. If you're quick, you might have a little time to take a little duck in there on the way back in. The other ones were originally, everything was built of wood, so they burned down. Province House, back in 1849, this is open. It's been under restoration now for almost 10 years, 2015. Every year, next year they're saying, really, next year it will reopen, we're hoping. So it's closed to the public. They've had to redo everything on it, reorder the windows. So our legislature is meeting now, instead of at Province House, in the George Coles building, this brick building on the left. Community center on the right, bowling alley, the daycare is in there. And then we're coming up to, I call it the church corner. One for every denomination here on this street, Prince Street. There's about at least 6 churches. I'm surprised to see a bus stopped in front of the church there. I don't know whether they go in there. But on the far right, that's Trinity United. That's the longest original standing, goes back to the 1700s, United. As we turn the corner here on Prince, look at the manse there on the left. Got the rainbow steps for the Gay Pride Week. That was last month. And my favorite is St. Paul's United, made of 2-toned island stone, designed by William Critchlow Harris. Really great acoustics in there. And if you look across the street from it, I've still never been in here. It's Zion Presbyterian Church. So majority of people here Catholics, Catholic Protestant, but we've got Buddhists here. We've got Salvation Army Church is further up the street. We're going to take a right here on Kent. Yeah. I think I'm not sure if we have a Jewish synagogue. That's the only thing I don't think we have. I know there's mosques, everything. So this is called Kent. This is kind of downtown for the clubs and a lot of restaurants here. Some of the biggest ones here on both sides. So they function as restaurants in the day and clubs at night. Nice to be able to sit outside in the evening. Another church, I love the turret on this one on the left. That is Central Christian Church. Pretty unique building. A politician here, and this is in honor of him. I went to go have my lunch in that little pavilion and pulled in there the other day and went, oh, there's no tables. The picnic tables are gone. I don't know what they did with them. Maybe they didn't want homeless people camping out there, is what I guess. Now you'll see there's a trail on the right here. That's beautiful. They've paved this part here. But a lot of it is where the original railway tracks ran. They ran across the island. A couple of people walking there on the right. So they took out all the rails, and it's called Rails to Trails, Confederation Trail. It's used for walking and biking, and parts of it are used for skidoos in the wintertime as well. Some people like to bike the whole trail. It would take you a while, and then you can, I guess you get some kind of stamp or some kind of recognition certificate if you do the whole, it's a couple 100 miles. He was one of our supporters. He was pro-Confederation. His name was Pope, and that was his residence. And they hosted a lot of garden parties, a lot of oysters, and lots of cases of champagne were drank. They had meetings and dinners and dances for about a week, part of the Charlottetown conference that eventually led to Confederation. At the end of the week, Prince Edward Island said, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We're not going to join," even though we were the host. So there was other we call them now the Fathers of Confederation, that were against it for a lot of reasons. We were pretty wealthy at the time. We really didn't want to pay taxes, you know, to the central government. And we had the fox fur, we had shipbuilding, of course, you know, agriculture. We had everything, fish, right? We're an island, pretty self-sufficient. They were building the railway. And then eventually what happened was we went bankrupt building the railway. And so then they went, well, okay, we'll join Confederation if the federal government kicks in and pays the bill to finish building. So that's what happened. So about 6 years later, 1873 was when we finally joined. Confederation happened in 1867 and July 1st. We can go in through the line. On the right, UPEI, University of Prince Edward Island. If you look up the hill, you see those beautiful horses. A lot of those would be retired race horses way up there. They're feeding. We'll be going by. We're going to go through the university. It's the only university on the island. We just call it UPEI. Grown a lot since I first went here when I first moved. And as I mentioned, it became amalgamated from St. Dunstan's University to University PEI in 1969. Just looking for my numbers here. So we're going to be passing by the AVC on your left, the Atlantic Veterinary College. There's both a small and large animal clinic. So a lot of those horses are here, they're retired, or they're here if they, you know, need medical assistance or operations. There's usually a few animals. I think a cow. There's one cow in there. You never know what you're going to see in here. A large animal clinic. There's the crossing for the horses. You'll see a few on the right. So we have about 55, as of last year, 5,500 registered students here. About a third of those are all international students, 1,600 from 92 different countries. We've become very international on this little white bread island here. 10 faculties. And what's interesting in the vet college, 85% of the students are female. I found that was a very interesting and surprising fact, yeah. And this is, like I said, not just dogs and cats here. We're talking about the animals. I think I made a mistake telling you the population if anybody was actually... Sometimes I get corrections. I go, oops, sorry, I do make mistakes. We're at about, I think I said 200 up. And that is the school they go to. Now, I believe they're off for the summer. This little tiny building on the right, that was their school. I don't know whether they've relocated. I heard that. They're still there. Yeah, the signs, I guess, fell off. So, I'm not sure. I always mix up if it's, I think it's Amish here. We have Amish and Mennonite. On the left here, the Red Barn County Country Market there. So that's their building. You can go in and buy, apparently, I haven't been there, the best baked goods like homemade breads and squares and cookies, and then they have produce and I'm not sure if they sell meat, but yeah, it's like all their own. Some horses. There's a potato stand there on the right. So you just leave the money. Usually there's a can or something. You leave the money and take it on the honor system. If they're high tech, some of them even take e-transfers now. I know I've bought one place they have apples. I just saw it back there. They have a bucket of flowers. You never know what you can find. You can get eggs, flowers, whatever is in season for produce. Right now there's some cornfields there. Our corn is later here because of our season. We don't usually get corn till towards the end of August, September. A lot of it is cattle corn for feed, but we do have human corn too.
There are no boy colors. Most y'all know. No, not that many. Not little boys. Okay, can I get a picture of you? You were right there against the wall.
那个人，你看到没有？他在那个mow grass， 他一个人mow好大一片。Marvelously. What's this point? Hey. Bear. Blue bear. 哎。就后来我的那个伤口发炎了。Follow. Oh, it's pretty. Oh, 那地方有很多那种。哦。
的。
那等我走到有太阳的时候，它又要把。
Look at how shallow this.
这个怎么有点像锅？
Lava's behind. Can you guys wait?
Run, wait. Go. 太如此。
Do you have mosquito spray?
I do. And then you have yours.
Put it on anywhere. I gotta put it on
Baba.
陈以为不经常坐着去上课坐第一排，然后睡的天昏地暗。
Oh my god, yeah. Because I'm trying to be a good student, but I just can't.
那老师绝对觉得你骚挺啊。
Or I don't know, they moved to a lot of different places. Pretty sure she was in Europe for a little bit.
Who?
Remember you?
哦。
又到 Europe 哦，是不是他爸是做维修去了？不过我觉得他们客人好像都不是很稳定哈。原来那个男孩他们家不也无办法？无搜哦，无搜的对啊。
这不是 same。They told you to go that way, you come back.
either side, killing both of us.
老不是的。
哎，你在最后1分钟把你的夹给掏了哈。
哎，这个是个什么树 ？Cherry 啊，or something else？ 别抠了，你手就是闲不住。
这确实是啊，一会儿脱一会儿
到底，哎呀，这个好看，好多拍上面。什么东西？你是可以飞进去，你为什么不飞进去？
Oh, what are you saying? I don't know.
烦透了。你自己就跑 ，Go everywhere, finish in one run。At peace among the trees， 哎，这个 tree 确实是。
Wait, so
Right.
are those edible? Daddy, those edible? No.
I don't know.
It's poison in it? Why? How do you...
People write name on the trees.嗯，没什么。哦，它这是接了，这是什么？哦，番茄。
Oh, are these edible? Are these edible?
I don't know how to.
Oh, did you know they're called $8?
不要坐那，坐那去。
Well, now they're not going to know where we are.
Call them.
You do that.
你坐下嘛。
Yeah, but I opened my phone up the last trip. I was awake the whole time.
Me too.
Also because
The Cavendish Beach, and again that grave site for Lucy Maud. Her name was Maud to her friends. On the right there with the two bushes, that's her grave site, the red flowers. And she wanted to be buried. She died in Ontario, and she wanted to be buried in her homeland that she loved and close, you know, to Cavendish. So there she is. And when we're going to turn left at the corner, you might get a little glimpse of the post office. It's kind of hard to see, but it'll be up on the right by the church. Oh, there's a big truck there, but you can see the church. The post office is hidden right beside it on the right up there. Cavendish Visitor Center on the left. And this that's in centigrade, probably about 70-ish converted. For all of you American people, I usually try to do the temperatures and things in both. No dogs are permitted on the beaches. And if you're, we might or might not, we might see, there's usually a lot of red foxes wandering around here. And there's a lot of American bald eagles. They have nests in here. You might see just some of them. A lot of bird species here. Blue herons, hawks, red hawks. Lots of buses. Oh geez. I see another one around. Getting crowded in here. You see the nice walkway on the right.
That's a nice beach, but we cannot go.
They're all the same.
就是啊，根本看不清楚里头是什么东西。
哎，你能不能站近来一点？
Oh my god.
好乱。
And I wasn't even in it.
着急啊，那个没有 finish 嘛。
哎呦，
来，再来一个，你就不要哎呦哎呦的。
You're putting you in a position that's covering people.
就是啊。
你站那儿啊。
Comes in the South Shore side is the Northumberland Strait, so it's between the mainland of Nova Scotia, and it's shallower, so that means the water's warmer, but it's a different kind of view. It's more of the red clay, a lot of the rocky cliffs, like you'll see the cliffs here, the rocky beach. If you notice the signs where we stopped there's a lot of signs showing a little person falling over. So every so often somebody what holds the sand in, and there's also nests for a bird called a piping plover, so we don't want to do. So they came over from Ireland. This was farmland, so all those houses on the left, they're all cousins. Isn't that beautiful? So this house here, the ones who, my friends who inherited it, that's their summer home. They used to use the little, they have as well the little cottage on the right that they rented out. It's rented all year round, so that's what they used for food there, but yeah, there's might be some. I don't really see them in there. Those are seagulls, I think. There may be a few around. And there's usually, you'll see the sign for watch out for goose crossing. So this beach on the left is beautiful. This is North Rostikov. Definitely a good beach day today. And you have some that have full facilities. That's why we're paying to go in. This is some of them have
I see the dock.
places that have full change rooms and showers and canteens, and some of them have lifeguards, some of them don't. So depending on that are, I should say fishermen, apparently the term is applying to all genders, but there are women too. There's actually a few young women captains. If you were going to get into lobster fishing, you would need well over $1 million for a boat and the gear and everything. You can't just go and buy a license though. You have to inherit it generally from within the family, or if somebody's selling it out. Each of them have their own kind of territory, their own buoys, their own numbers that they go out every morning, early in the morning, and they check their traps and they rebait them. And look at the little lighthouse and stuff here. It's just a beautiful little town. They really keep it really nice. And Canada Day, a lot of people from all over the island will come here. They have a parade, and then they have a boat parade as well. Everyone and their friends go out on the boats and they decorate them up, and they go around the harbor, and then they have the fireworks down here, and they have music. It's a great little town. It doesn't have a Tim Hortons. That's the only thing it doesn't have. They have Robin's instead. Robin's Donuts. Watch. Crazy drivers. He's probably swearing at us. To the white one. So they have right next to, there's an Irving, so the gas station convenience store is right there. And up the hill around the corner, the most important thing, the liquor store and the hardware store next to each other. They have a Lions Club for the clubs. They have the bank, the bakery. What else? I think they have a library. And the best, some of the best restaurants, best food on PEI is right here, because you're going to get fresh. There's a little place, it's hit and miss if it's open. It just looks like a little shack. It's up beside the liquor store, and it's just a little shack, and the guy opens whenever he feels like it, and he has some of the best fish and chips. He just does fish and chips and breaded clams. And if you know, now his prices have gotten up. They're anywhere here is generally now around $20 for fish and chips, and usually you're looking at the fish we use is called haddock. If you're really lucky, you can get halibut, which is a lot more expensive but delicious. But generally we do haddock and chips, and a lot of the places now, you know, being that we grow all the potatoes, fresh cut potatoes. When I moved here from Ontario, I grew up with chip trucks, right? That's all they sold. And it was fried in like fat lard, right? That's what tasted so good. Now they don't use it. And when I moved here, I was like, why are they not, they grow potatoes. It's their big #1 problem. Why are they not serving fresh cut French fries? I couldn't believe it. Now they are everywhere. A lot of the restaurants are doing their own. But definitely great seafood up here. If you haven't had one, you have a chance to export. We export a lot to you guys in the States. What they call, there's table potatoes when you go buy the bag of potatoes at the store. And then they also have what they call seed potatoes. So if you cut them up, the little eyes, when they, you know, when they start growing, when they get old, that's what mine end up like in the fridge. I have to end up throwing them out. So that's what's used for seed, and that's also exported all over. Second biggest economy, of course, for us is the fish. You know, they call it fishing and aquaculture. And as you mentioned again, if you look to the left, probably some more oyster cages out there. There's a little boat coming in. Sometimes we might see, I haven't this year, you might see a little, they just use like a little, I didn't realize until recently we do snow crab here. I didn't think we did. And mostly it's a little more of a rock, a smaller crab, about the size of your hand. Water park, the daisy, the squirting daisy there. Yeah, busy. They have a playground that's donated by a big company called Canadian Tire, $1 million playground. It's all accessible for handicapped people. It's got that spongy, you know, kind of bottom on it. A lot of these cool musical instruments. The kids always love playing on those. The boardwalk on the right, about 3 or 4 kilometers. And you notice all those rocks there. That's to help from the surge when you get all those rotten hurricanes. It really did a lot of damage to the park here. We lost a lot of our trees in that last one. So we have the the boardwalk there for walkers, and then bikers get the lane on the left. It's rest of the year it's two-way traffic, but they close it down to have that bike lane on the left, which is really, really good. This floating boardwalk, people just hanging out, watching the world go by. That was put in a couple years ago. And if you look over to the right, that's the entrance to the harbor. That's where you'll be sailing out of in a few hours. Fort Edward's the original British name. Skamagam, I think, is the original native name. One of the very first settlements on the island of the French was over there, that clearing part on the right that's sort of flat. You'll see a couple of, hard to see them, but there are a couple of lighthouses, range lights over there as well. Lots of birds out there today, floating around. You'll see sometimes there's one sailboat out there. The other day there was all kinds of black and white sailboats. I don't know what kind of race it was, but it was pretty cool. We've got the tennis courts on the left, the dairy bar. We love our ice cream here, all kinds of dairy bars. All the open space for your picnics and playing frisbee. In the back there's a couple of softball or baseball diamonds. The battery here on the cannons, that was when the British and the French were fighting. They put them in to protect the harbor, but they never did actually have to use them. On the left they have the band shell and the flowers spelling out Victoria Park. The Canada flag with the maple leaf. And we have our own, what I call our White House on the left here. There's beautiful flower gardens. They sometimes open them up to the public. I know they had an open house lately. I saw a bunch of people going in. That's her residence there. And if she is home, oh, she's not home. The purple flag is flying at the top, so that means she's not there. So there's that PEI flag and the Canada flag. And the other one is 150th anniversary. I forgot to tell you, Lucy Maud Montgomery, 150. The most expensive house built here originally. It was a shipbuilder, and he used Daddy's money and then he went bankrupt. But he had the first electricity and hot and cold running water. And then we have these probably back late 60s, I'm going to say 67 or 69, the provincial government buildings on the left. I always call them those monstrosities. They kind of just don't fit in with the beautiful Victorian style homes and things. But that was the style at the time. In the Confederation Arts Center, where the musical Anne of Green Gables, it used to play every year, and now it's every second year, so it is playing this year. I found it really interesting because the lead this year is, I'm not sure we're here. On the left, the antique, I don't have time to get all this in, the antique fire truck from the 1920s. It's always out on a sunny day. If it rains, they put it inside. That looks like Mayor Brown right upstairs there. That's our head office here, our City Hall on the left. A funny story about the bell. They kept, it ended up, I think it had a crack, and they ended up just taking it out of the tower and leaving it down there. Busy little spot here. This is the major downtown. We're at Queen Street in Kent.
Book me. It's funny.
So on the left, this is the other mall in Charlottetown, Confederation Court Mall. It's 3 different levels, urban eatery. Pretty well any restaurant. We have a culinary cooking school as part of the college here. It's just down near the waterfront. And so we have restaurants, every kind of food you could possibly want, pretty well up in this area on Queen. Cow's Ice Cream. This is one location on the corner on the left. There is one closer. I'll point that out when we get down to the waterfront. If you need banks, all the major banks here on the corners. Confederation Center of the Arts I was just talking about that's playing Anne is on the top left corner. They have an art gallery in there. A musical. We're going to pass the horse and buggy here holding up traffic. So we have Italian food, we have Thai, we have Jamaican, every kind of food. On the left here, this is our Richmond Row, all the outdoor tables, Anne of Green Gables chocolates. Very good. If you noticed them they had them at Green Gables if you went into the coffee shop, chocolate covered potato chips. It sounds weird. But believe me, once I have them, I went, these are really delicious. That's made up by the Anne of Green Gables products, yeah. You'll probably, I think they may have some in the port as well if you haven't bought any. It's a neat little souvenir. Something else you can buy if you're looking for souvenirs is from the PI Preserve Company, the one I pointed out earlier. They have little tiny jars. You can mix and match. It's great for little gifts. Yeah, we want to try to avoid Water Street at all costs at this time of day and year. With this
Is that a real or lobster trap? What's I'm gonna drink some water. Come on now.
the difference between a nautical mile and a regular mile?
要一边睡。
Share posture. Which posture?
你把它不要那么竖的那么高，给它一个角。
But which one? Well, why?
Has lasagna or something.
Well, my lasagna?
No, he said
Clint.
Close your eyes.
Pretend you know nothing.
Close your eyes. Very good.
Make your way.
Make your way. 1 minute.
This side, guys, this side for the,
This side
for the video. Verde is
Okay, everyone, yeah? Ryan, yeah? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.